Hello all my dear students, I'm Amit Ajmani and I welcome you all to Sri Jendra Rank Zone classes. And I think you are already aware what you are supposed to do in today's class. In the previous class, we have completed up the chapter Atoms and Molecules. And today, we are supposed to discuss the question answers. And I really hope that you all are prepared for it. So not to waste any more time, let us start directly with work. Let us see the first question, what exactly the first question is saying. The first question is the atomicity of phosphorus is. Now we need to remember that phosphorus is tetraatomic. It exists in the P4 form. There are 4 atoms in its molecule. So the atomicity is 4. So C will be the correct answer, right? Next, the chemical symbol of silver is quite simple. We all know that silver, quite simple question. The symbol is Ag. And from where has this Ag been derived? From its Latin name, which was, what was the Latin name? Argentum. Clear? Coming to the third question now. How many atoms of oxygen are contained in 10 molecules of sulfur trioxide. Now, first of all, sulfur trioxide is SO3. We have got 10 molecules. That means we'll put 10 here. And now we have to calculate how many atoms of oxygen are there. So, in this sulfur trioxide molecule, we have got O3. And since there are 10 molecules, so 10 into 3, it will become 30. So there are 30 oxygen atoms which are present in 10 molecules of sulfur trioxide. Clear? Coming to the next question. Fourth question is, what is the gram molecular mass of H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid? We know exactly what is gram molecular mass. It is the molecular mass in grams. So first of all, we need to calculate the molecular mass. And how do we do it? Simply by knowing the formula. Here we can relate that in this formula we have got 2 hydrogen atoms. So we can write 2 into H, plus we have got 1 sulfur atom. We can write 1 into S, plus there are 4 oxygen atoms. We can write 4 into O. Now replacing their atomic masses, we know that the atomic mass of hydrogen is 1 unit. So it will be 2 into 1 unit, plus the atomic mass of sulfur is 32. So I will write 1 into 32 units, plus atomic mass of oxygen is 16. So I will write 4 into 16. Right? Now, what will it will become? 2 into 1 is 2 units, plus sulfur is 32 plus 32 units, plus 16 for the is 64 units. Combining them all, it will come out to be 98 units. This is the molecular mass, and because we have to take the gram molecular mass, so we will replace this unit with gram. So the gram molecular mass of sulfuric acid comes out to be 98 grams, which is given in our B option. So we will write B. We will mark it to be the correct answer. Right? This is how we are going to calculate the molecular mass of sulfuric acid. Coming to the next question. Match column 1 and column 2. Now here in column 1 we have been given the names of the elements thallium, titanium, zinc and cobalt. And in column 2 we have been given the symbols. Quite simple, I suppose. We can relate it. We have to match them. Cobalt is, we know it is CO. Zinc, very common, is Zn. Remaining are thallium and titanium. In titanium we can see Ti as per the rule Ti, and thallium is the first alphabet and L, it becomes Tl. So A should be with 4. Let us see A, not with 3, not with 2. It should be with 4. Confirm it. B should be with 3. So B is with 3. So C is the correct answer. Let us confirm the remaining also. Zinc should be with 2. That means C with 2. So C is with 2 also correct. And D, cobalt, is matched with the first in column 2. That is D with first. All correct. So C is the answer we were looking for. We'll mark C. Clear? Next question is, what is the Latin name of mercury? Hg. Anything else given is just, I think it doesn't make even any sense why these options are given, because it is the only one starting with H. It is hydrogen. Argentum, we should revise that it is basically silver. Symbol is Ag. Aurum is basically gold, Au, and ferrum is iron, Fe, right? So in this question, hydrogen is the Latin name of mercury, right? Coming to the next question. The number of atoms present in a molecule of an element is called, is it the allotropy, aromaticity, atomicity, or none of the above? It is the atomicity. Atomicity is the number of atoms which are present in one molecule of an element. So B, atomicity, will be the right answer. Coming to 8th question, which of the following is not represented by chemical symbol? Is it the size of the atom or element? Yes, it is not represented by chemical symbol. Name of the element, we can relate with the help of chemical symbol. Definite mass of the element, we can relate the mass if we know the name of the element. None of the above is wrong. So this is the size of the atom which we cannot relate. So A will be the right answer. Clear? Next, the chemical symbols for elements were stated by. Now the chemical symbols, we are talking about chemical symbols of elements. They were given by Berzelius. It was J.J. Berzelius, not Berzelium, it is Berzelius. So A, you are going to mark the right answer. Coming to next question, question number 10. A compound is formed by the combination of atoms of at least dash elements. Is it 4? Is it 5? Is it 3? Or is it 2? We know that it is 2. There are so many compounds which are formed by the combination of atoms of two elements like water, hydrogen chloride, sodium chloride, zinc oxide, magnesium oxide, hundreds and probably thousands of them. But we need at least two elements to form a compound. One element is there, then it will be atomic form, or even if the atoms of same element are combining, the element is same, then they are not called compounds, they are called molecules. So for a compound to be formed, minimum two elements are required. So D is the right answer. Next, atomicity of helium is. Now helium is an inert gas represented as He1, and all the inert gases are monoatomic. So 1 is the atomicity of helium and A will be the correct option. Coming to the next question. The particle in an atom which has negative charge. Why you are asking this question from us? You should go and ask a 6th or 7th or 8th class student. Even they will tell us that it is the electrons, which are the positively charged particles. Protons are positively, electrons are negatively, sorry, and neutrons are neutral. Nucleus is actually positively charged because of the presence of protons in them. So A are the negatively charged particles. A, electron, will be our answer. Next is the symbol of magnesium element is Na, Mg, Mo, Mn. It is Mg. Na we know, just for revision purpose, is natrium, that is sodium. Mo is molybdenum. Mn is manganese. It is Mgc, which is the symbol of magnesium. Correct? Coming to the next question. Hydrogen is it an element or a mixture or a compound or none of these? Simple, hydrogen is an element. Fine. It will combine with some other element to form a compound, but it itself it's an element. So A will be the right answer. Next question. Which among the following element has valency of 1? Monovalent. Magnesium. Magnesium is Mg2 plus. It has 2 valency. So it is not having 1 valency. Calcium again is Ca2 plus. Not the right answer. Aluminium is trivalent. 3 plus. Not the right answer. Sodium is Na plus. So sodium has 1 valency. We will mark D to be the right answer. Clear? Quite simple questions, I suppose. Let us see the next. How many moles are represented by 90 gram of glucose C6H12O6? Is it 1 mole or 1.5 mole or 0.5 mole or 2 mole? Now, if you remember the formula for calculating the number of moles, what was that formula? The formula was that number of moles is equal to the mass of the substance divided by gram molecular mass. The mass of the substance is given to be 90 grams. So we need to find the gram molecular mass in order to know the number of moles. And how to find gram molecular mass of glucose? Formula is given to us. Let us see. In this glucose molecule, we have got 6 carbon. So we can write 6 into C, plus we have got 12 hydrogen. So 12 into H, plus we have got 6 oxygen, 6 into O. Now putting the values of the atomic masses, we know that the atomic mass of carbon is how much? 12. So 6 into 12 units, plus hydrogen is 1. So 12 into 1 unit, plus oxygen is 16. So 6 into 16 units. Comes out to be 72 units, plus 12 units, plus 96 units. Adding them up, we will get 180 units because it is gram molecular mass expressed in grams. So now the mass given to us in the question is 90 grams, and the gram molecular mass comes out to be 180 grams. Cancelling gram and gram, 90 by 80 is 0.5. So 0.5 mole, that is option number B, will be our answer. I hope you are able to relate how we have actually done it. Right? Simply we have to apply the formula. Number of moles is equal to mass of the substance divided by gram molecular mass. The mass of the substance is given to us in the question, that is 90 grams. We simply have to calculate the gram molecular mass of glucose, and the way how to calculate we already know. We'll just calculate it, finding the value, putting it in the formula, getting the answer. Clear? Let us come to the next question. In the next question, we are being asked to calculate the ratio of molecules present in 4.4 gram of carbon dioxide and 1.6 gram of sulfur dioxide. Now we need to remember that first of all we need to calculate the number of molecules both of carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, only then we'll be able to relate their ratio. And what is the formula for number of molecules? It is the mass of the substance divided by gram molecular mass into Avogadro number. This is what exactly is the formula for calculating the number of molecules. So let us talk about carbon dioxide first. For carbon dioxide, the mass given is 4.4 divided by the gram molecular mass we need to calculate of carbon dioxide, which is 12 into 32 is 44, right? Multiply by 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. So this is the number of molecules of 4.4 gram of carbon dioxide. Similarly, now we'll calculate for sulfur dioxide. The mass given in the question is 1.6 gram divided by the gram molecular mass of sulfur dioxide is 64 grams, multiplied by Avogadro number 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. Now we simply have to find the ratio. Over here we can see that it is 1 by 10th of Avogadro number, and here we can see 1 by 4th. So if we'll try to find out the ratio between these two, then it will come out to be, so now in 1 mole of carbon dioxide we have got 6.022 into 10 power 23 divided by 10, or we can also write it is 6.022 into 10 to the power 22 molecules. Now when we calculated in case of sulfur dioxide, this is in 1 mole, so we'll calculate in 1/4 mole, which comes out to be, this is simply 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 multiplied by 0.025, or 1 by 4, which is 0.025, which comes out to be, if we calculate, that is 1.5 something into 10 to the power 22. So now we will calculate the ratio of these many molecules to these many molecules of sulfur dioxide. It simply is 6.022 into 10 to the power 22 divided by 1.5 into 10 to the power 22. Cancelling it out, 6.0 divided by 1.5 comes out to be 4:1. So the answer is the first option, 4:1. So this particular type of question requires some brainstorming and quite a lot of calculation. Clear? First of all, we need to calculate how many molecules are present in 1 mole of carbon dioxide. Similarly, we'll try to relate it with sulfur dioxide, and then we can calculate the ratio. Clear? Let us come to the next question. What is the exact weight of 3 moles of sodium? Now we know that 1 mole is equal to the gram atomic mass. Atomic mass of sodium is 23 grams. So if the mass of 1 mole is 23 grams, then applying the unitary method, what will be the mass of 3 mole of sodium? It will be 23 multiplied by 3, which comes out to be 69 grams, and 69 grams is our C option. So the exact weight of 3 moles of sodium will be 69 grams. C will be the right answer. Got it? Coming to the next question. The mass of one atom of an element X is 2 into 10 to the power minus 23 gram. What could the element X be? So in order to know the element X, we need to relate what is the mass of 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms, because that will be equal to gram molecular mass, and by knowing the gram molecular mass, we'll be able to relate which atom it is, right? So, if the mass of one atom is 2 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams, so the mass of the 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 atoms will be this multiply by 2 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. Cancelling 23 minus and plus, we are left with 6.022 into 2, which comes out to be 12.044 gram, and we know that the gram molecular mass of which element is 12.044? It is carbon. The gram molecular mass of carbon is 12.044 gram. Oxygen is 16, nitrogen is 14, sulfur is 32. So the element X is carbon, and we'll mark A to be our answer. Got it? Coming to the next question. In question number 20, what the examiner is asking, if 60 gram sugar is dissolved in 180 grams of water, the concentration of solution will be. Now we should know the formula to calculate the concentration of solution. This is equal to mass of solute divided by mass of solution multiply by 100. Mass of solute is given to us to be 60 grams. Now mass of solvent is given, that is water. So we are not going to take 180, we are going to take the mass of solution, which becomes after adding the mass of solute as well as solvent. So it will be 240 multiplied by 100, cancelling it out, this comes out to be 4, and the answer will be 25%. That is C will be our answer. 25% will be the concentration of this particular solution, right? Coming to the next question. How many molecules of H2O2 are present in 68 gram of H2O2? Now we have to once again calculate the number of molecules, and the formula we already know. In order to calculate the number of molecules, we will just take the mass given to us in the question, that is 68 gram, divided by gram molecular mass. Now what is the gram molecular mass? Gram molecular mass of H2O2, if we calculate, it comes out to be 34 gram. Multiply by Avogadro number, that is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. So gram and gram cancel, 34 1 the, 34 2 the, and 2 multiply by 6.022 comes out to be 12.044 into 10 to the power 23 molecules. So B 12.044 into 10 to the power 23 is our answer, right? Coming to the next question now. This is a very nice question, nicely asked actually. Otherwise it is simple. The cost of sucrose sugar C12H22O11 is rupees 20 per kg. Per kg it is given. Per kg means per 1000 grams. Its cost per mole is. Now first of all, we have to relate that the cost of 1000 gram of sucrose is given out to be rupees 20. So 1 gram will be costing 20 divided by 1000, and if we try to relate the cost of the gram molecular mass, that is 1 mole, per mole means 1 mole, and 1 mole is equal to the mass of the molecular mass in grams. So we need to calculate the gram molecular mass, which is, once again we need to calculate is 12 into carbon plus 22 into hydrogen plus 11 into oxygen. 12 into carbon is 12 into 12 144 plus 22 into hydrogen is 22 plus 11 into 16 is 176, right? So adding them up we will get this to be 342, right? So now 20 divided by 1000, we are calculating it for 342 grams. We'll just multiply it with 342 grams. So after calculating, it comes out to be 6.84 rupees. Now 6.84 is not given in any of the options here. So probably there is some error and we have to go with 6.84 rupees only. Clear? Coming to the next question. If the mass of 1 mole of water is 18 gram, then what is the mass of 1 molecule of water? Quite simple. We know that in 1 mole there are 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 molecules. So in the question it is given that the mass of 1 mole, that is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 molecules, is 18 grams. We just need to calculate the mass of 1 molecule. Simply we will divide 18 by 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. On calculation, it will come out to be 2.99 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. So B will be our choice, right? Coming to the next question. What is the numerical value of Avogadro number? 24 and 25. We know that it is not the case, but still some students feel some kind of confusion. Right now there is no confusion. It is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. But I have seen at times that some students have this confusion whether it is 23 at the bottom and 10 to the power 22, or at the bottom it is 6.022 and the power is 23. So in that case, if you also face this type of confusion, always remember the thing at the top needs to be at the top because it is having something more. That means lower value is 6.022 and above level is more than the lower value. So it should be 23. And in this case, our answer is 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. This is the Avogadro number. Clear? Coming to the next question. 25th. In this question, we are given total number of atoms in 44 gram of carbon dioxide is. Now, how many atoms are present in 44 grams of carbon dioxide? We can simply relate it. How? It should be the number of molecules as such. It should not be the number of atoms. Why so? Because carbon dioxide is basically a compound, right? So, how we are going to calculate it? Simple and straightforwardly we know the formula. It is the mass given in the question 44 divided by rather grams divided by the gram molecular mass, which is again 44 grams for carbon dioxide, multiply by the Avogadro number. Cancelling it out, the answer should be Avogadro number. That is our A answer, 6.02 into 10 to the power 23. Right? Now coming to the next question. In this next question, what is being said? The number of grams of sulfuric acid H2SO4 present in 0.25 mole of H2SO4, that is sulfuric acid, is, we have to calculate the mass actually. And what is the formula that we already know for mass? The formula simple for mass calculation is the mass is equal to the Avogadro number, the gram molecular mass divided by Avogadro number, which can be simply represented as the formula that we already have studied, that N is equal to W about M. So from here we can calculate the mass, which will be equal to N into M. Now the value is given to us to be 0.25 mole. So this is 0.25, multiply the gram molecular mass of sulfuric acid. 2H means 2, sulfur is 32, oxygen SO4 is 64, which comes out to be 98. So 0.25 divided by 100 into 98, it comes out to be 24.5. So C, 24.5 will be our right answer. You can directly check your calculations by doing it on your own. Right? You should know how to calculate. Next question. Which of the following has the largest number of atoms? Is it 0.5 gram atom of copper, or 1 gram, or 0.60 gram of copper, or 0.25 moles of copper? Now, when we talk about these three options, 0.5 and 0.635 and 1 gram, we know that it is 1 gram which is more than this. So 1 gram will contain the more number of atoms as compared to half gram and 0.65 gram. Next option given to us is 0.25 moles of copper. So when we relate it with this, we will find that it is the 1 gram of copper which contains the largest number of atoms. So we will mark C to be the right answer. Kindly do the calculation in which you will be able to relate that it is 1 gram of copper which contains the largest number of atoms among all these four. Clear? Coming to the next question. 1 mole of oxygen gas is the volume of. Now this we know is a standard thing. I specially told you in the previous class, you need to learn it, that 1 mole of any gas is the volume of 22.4 liters of that gas at STP. So C is the right answer. Got it? Coming to the next question. The volume of 4.4 gram of carbon dioxide at STP is. Now we know that the volume of 1 mole is equal to 22.4. Right? So it simply means 1 mole is equal to gram molecular mass, and for carbon dioxide we have already calculated so many times, it is 44 grams. So 44 grams of carbon dioxide will occupy 22.4 liters at STP. So applying the unitary method, 1 gram will be equal to 22.4 divided by 44, and 4.4 will be equal to this multiplied by 4.4, coming out to be 2.24. So 2.24, that means C will be our right answer to this question. Right? Coming to the next question. The largest number of molecule is in. Is it 34 grams of water, or 46 grams of CaCOH, and that means methanol, or 28 grams of carbon dioxide, or 52 grams of nitrogen pentoxide? Now for this we need to calculate each one of these. How? We know the formula the number of molecules will be calculated by the mass given in the question divided by the gram molecular mass multiplied by the Avogadro number. For this, we need to calculate the gram molecular mass of water. We need to calculate the gram molecular mass of methanol. We need to calculate the gram molecular mass of carbon dioxide. We need to calculate the gram molecular mass of nitrogen pentoxide. The masses are already given to us. So mass already given. Avogadro number is a fixed value. Gram molecular mass we are going to calculate, and then after calculating all these we will relate which one of these will contain the maximum number of molecules. Not to waste the time of the class, I think this is simple, and we have done these type of questions lot many times above. So this you can do yourself, and once you will do it, then you can check out which of them contains the largest number of molecules. Fine. So this 30th question, after such a long time, I am giving you on your own behalf, trusting you that you will solve and you will check out. Okay. The answer when you will do will be 34 grams of water, but you have to make sure that this is the correct answer or not. Okay. Coming to the next question. Which of the following correctly represents 360 grams of water? Is it 2 moles of water, or 20 moles of water, or 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 molecules of water, or is it 1.044 into 10 to the power 25 molecules of water? For this, we need to first of all try to relate. Now, the water is, we know that the gram molecular mass is 18 grams, right? 18 grams are equal to 1 mole. So, 360 gram will be equal to 20 moles. So, 2 moles is wrong. 20 moles is correct. Next, we know that 18 grams are equal to 1 mole, which will be equal to 6.022 into 10 to the power 23. When it comes to 360 grams, that means 20 mole, so it should be multiplied by 20, which will come out to be 12.044 into 10 to the power 25. So again, it is not 6.022, but it is 1.02044 into 10 to the power 25. So out of these four options, option number second and fourth is correct. That means looking out in A, B, C, D, we can see that D is the right answer. Do not wildly guess. These are very direct and simple questions, but they simply require a bit of calculation. That's it. The formulas are very direct, so it simply means you can attempt, but just make sure you confirm by solving them first. Let us see the next question. Which of the following statements is not true about an atom? Atoms are not able to exist independently. This is a true statement because monoatomic we have seen so many elements, right? Atoms are the basic units from which molecules and ions are formed. This is also a true statement. Atoms are always neutral in nature, exactly, because all the atoms contain the same number of electrons and protons, which are equal and opposite in charge, and hence cancel out each other's charge. Next, atoms aggregate in large numbers to form the matter that we can see, feel, or touch. No, it is not the aggregation of the atoms in large numbers. They can be monatomic, diatomic also. So this is the wrong statement, and this we should mark as our answer. Right? Coming to the next question. 1 unit or 1 atomic mass unit means, is it 1/12th mass of carbon 12? Yes. Mass of carbon 12? No, it is taken to be 12. Mass of oxygen we don't relate. Mass of hydrogen we don't relate. So first thing is we relate it to be mass of C12 and that to 1/12th mass. So A. This is what we are going to mark as our answer. Next, which of the following contains maximum number of molecules? Again, this type of question we have done above. Same thing, we know the formula for calculating the number of molecules, that is the mass given in the question divided by the gram molecular mass multiplied by the Avogadro number. So you simply have to check out for this. This should be 1 gram of carbon dioxide, 1 gram of nitrogen, 1 gram of hydrogen and 1 gram of methane. And after that, just try to relate which one is the perfect answer and you will get the answer to be 1 gram of hydrogen. But make sure that you solve just for your practice. Don't let it go like this. I'm telling you the answer so that you can match it later when you will do it. But that doesn't mean that you will just ratify and you are going to cram the answer. No. Solve it yourself and try to see whether the answer given is coming or not. Let's see the next question. A sample of NH3 ammonia molecule, irrespective of a source, contains 82.35% nitrogen and 17.65% of hydrogen by mass. This idea supports. Now, ammonia, irrespective of the source, always contains the same percentage of mass. This is the law of definite proportion or the law of constant proportion or the law of constant composition. So C is our answer. Right? Coming to the next question. An element X is divalent, means it has two valency. So X has got valency 2. Another element Y is tetravalent, means it has got 4 valency. The compound formed by these two elements will be, we have to form the chemical formula 2 and 4, bringing them to the lowest form. It comes out to be our this 1 and 2. Then we will be cross multiplying it and the formula that will come to be x2y. X2y, that means C is our correct answer. Clear? Next question. The molecular formula of potassium nitrate is, we have to calculate the formula of potassium nitrate. Writing it, potassium, the symbol is K, nitrate, the symbol is NO3, valency of potassium is 1, NO3 is 1, cross multiplying, will simply get KNO3. So the formula is KNO3. This is potassium nitrate. Okay, A will be the right answer. Coming to the next question. 3.42 gram of sucrose are dissolved in 18 grams of water in a beaker. The number of oxygen atoms in the solution are. Now this is quite a good question. Please try to relate it. Now this is a very good question and it will require a bit of calculation. We know sucrose, the formula is C12H22O11. First of all, we need to relate the gram molecular mass of sucrose. Now, 12 carbon atoms, so I'll write 12 into C plus 22 hydrogen atoms and plus 11 into oxygen atoms. Atomic mass of carbon is 12, so 12 into 12 comes out to be 144, plus hydrogen is 1, so 21 into 1 comes out to be 22, sorry 22 into 1, and oxygen is 16, the mass, so 11 into 16 is 176. Adding them up, we will get 342 grams. So the gram molecular mass of sucrose is 342 grams. Now in this, if we try to relate how many oxygen atoms are present, 11. So what we will relate is the number of oxygen atoms which are present in 342 grams is actually 11 multiplied by the Avogadro number, right? Now, quite importantly, number of oxygen atoms in 342 grams is 11 into Avogadro number. So, in 3.42 grams, it will be the Avogadro number into 11 into 3.42 divided by the gram molecular mass 342. So this comes out to be, cancelling at 10, 11 by 10 is 0.11. So the number of oxygen atoms in 3.42 grams will be 0.11 into Na. Now we know that if we are talking about water, water is H2O. So in water, we have got the gram molecular mass is 18 grams. In 18 grams, the number of oxygen atoms is 1 mole. Therefore, if we are dissolving sucrose into this water, in water we have got 1 mole of oxygen. In sucrose we have got 0.11 mole of oxygen. So the total number of oxygen atoms in the solution formed by sucrose and water will be 0.11 mole of oxygen from sucrose and 1 mole from the water, which comes out to be 1.11 moles. Simply multiplying it, 1.11 multiplied by 1 mole is equal to 0.22 into 10 to the power 23. We'll get the answer to be 6.68 into 10 to the power 23. So A will be our right answer, but you need to relate how we did it. I repeat, first of all, we will try to calculate that as per sucrose, how many number of moles of oxygen will be present. Then in water, how many number of moles are there? And since we are dissolving sucrose into water, so the number of atoms present in this solution will be now the addition of both. Then we will be able to directly calculate. Good question. Okay. Coming to the next question. The molecular mass is defined as, what is molecular mass? The mass of one molecule of any substance compared with the mass of one atom of carbon 12. Yes, this is what molecular mass is. Let us see the next options. Mass of one atom compared with the mass of one atom of hydrogen. No. Mass of one atom compared with the mass of one molecule of what? It is incomplete. So again no. None of the above. No. A will be our right answer to this question. Fine. Let's see the next question. A change in the physical state can be brought about. How can we bring the change in a physical state? First option, only when energy is given to the system. It's not important, it's not necessary. Only when energy is taken out from the system. No, when energy is either given to or taken out from the system. Yes, both the options are perfect. Without any energy change. No. So C, this is what we are going to mark our answer to be, that for bringing about a physical change, energy can either be given in or it can be taken out from the system. Let's see the next question. The atomic mass of sodium is 23. the number of moles in 46 gram of sodium is. Now we know that 1 mole is equal to the gram molecular mass, which is 23 gram for sodium. So 1 mole will be equal to 23 gram. And for 46 gram, how many moles will be required? 2 moles. So 2, that is B, will be our right answer. Fine. Next, let us see. Which of the following represents the correct chemical formula? Now this is one of the questions for which I've been asking you again and again to learn the valencies. If you do not know the valencies, you will not be able to attempt this kind of questions. First option is CaCl. Now this is a wrong option because the valency of chlorine is 1 and calcium is 2. So the correct formula of calcium chloride should be CaCl2. Next is bismuth phosphate. This is correct because the valency of bismuth is 3. Phosphate is also 3. So when we made the formula, cancelling it out, it became bismuth phosphate. Sodium sulfate is wrong because the valency of sodium is 1 and sulfate is 2. So the actual formula of sodium sulfate should have been Na2SO4. Next is sodium sulfide. Again, the same thing. It's wrong because the valency of sodium is 1 but that of sulfur is 2. So the actual formula of sodium sulfide should have been Na2S. So it is only bismuth phosphate. That is our B option, which is correct. Rest all are wrong. Next, what is the formula mass unit of ZNO? Now, in order to calculate the formula mass unit, we will simply see ZNO is zinc plus oxygen. So we will just add the atomic mass of zinc plus atomic mass of oxygen. Atomic mass of zinc is 65 units and of that of oxygen is 16 units. So it simply comes out to be 81 units and it is given in the B option. So in this, we'll mark B 81 units to be our right answer. Clear? Coming to the next question. Now in this question, what he is asking is, how many atoms of oxygen are present in 300 grams of calcium carbonate? Exactly the same question as we have done above. And the same way we are going to attempt it. So first of all, we will be calculating the gram molecular mass of calcium carbonate. This is calcium plus 1 carbon plus 3 oxygen. The mass of calcium we know it is 40, carbon it is 12 and oxygen it is 16. So 16 into 3 is 48, which comes out to be 100 grams. Now, how many moles of calcium carbonate are there? That is mass given in the question 300 divided by gram atomic mass, which comes out to be 3 moles. Now, we will calculate the number of molecules of calcium carbonate. The number of molecules, when we know that it is 3 mole, in 1 mole there are 6.022 into 10^23. So in 3 mole it will be 3 into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 molecules. Now important part comes. That is, when we see calcium carbonate in 1 molecule, we can see that the number of oxygen atom are 3, right? Which means that it will be 3 into 6.022 into 10 to the power 23 molecules, will contain how much oxygen atoms? Multiply by 3. So 3 into 3 is 9. 9 into 6 is 54. 54.207 into 10 to the power 23. This will be our answer. So you need to relate how to calculate. Got it? Next question, and the last question of this chapter is, which of the following represents the correct relation between Avogadro number NO, number of particles N, and moles? N, that is number of moles, is equal to number of particles divided by Avogadro number? Yes. This first one in itself is the right answer, that number of moles is equal to the number of particles divided by Avogadro number. Clear? So this is all about atoms and molecules. The questions based on mole concept, they are very important, and even though a few questions are MCQ, but they will require calculation. So do not do the questions in air or verbally. Make sure that you utilize your pens, your paper, and your brain in order to give the answers. Practice these questions based on mole concept, and practice making the chemical formulae by learning the valencies. These are the two things which are the most important ones in this chapter, and we have already seen what type of questions have already come from this chapter during the past few years. So now, since we have seen this, now we are in a better position to strengthen our weak areas and to work out on these type of questions. Do more and more practice. Try to find out these type of questions and solve them so that you may become confident. Right? So, ending the class here. We are done with atoms and molecules. In the next class, we'll be taking up a new chapter. Till then, make sure that whatever weak areas we have got in atoms and molecules, whether it is valencies, formulas, or mole concept, I think personally everybody requires more practice of questions of mole concept. So please make sure that till the next class, you just fulfill that particular area of your mole concept practice. Got it? So we'll meet in the next class with the new chapter. Till then, take care of yourself and have a great day. Thank you so much for being with me.